Hello, I'm here, and so I decided to do a little bit of changing things up, so that's why it looks different behind me, but I promise you I'm the same person. I promise. Um, and like you have heard from the last video, hopefully, if you're going in order, um, it is time to talk about the different countries and cultures and things like that I promised that I would. And so today, if you didn't read the title already, it is all about the UK. Specifically, I'll talk about London, which I could narrow it down and just say Britain, but I decided that UK was, I don't know, like, less offensive, maybe? I don't really know. Like, I know the differences between, like, Britain, Great Britain, and the UK, but, I felt like UK was the appropriate choice. Obviously, because I've just been to London in that area, I can't speak for all of UK, but hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about the region if you have not been there already. So, London was the first of many foreign cities that I've been to, and so, like, I take a plane ride from the United States all the way over to London, and we land in Heathrow Airport. And it is immensely clean and well kept. It was so ridiculous. Like, I didn't know if I was allowed to walk on the floor, like touch the wall, sit on this bench, like drink from the water fountain. It was so clean, and I loved it because I'm the kind of person that, like, the cleaner it is, the more comfortable I feel. But it was so clean that it was just like, oh my gosh, oh, kind of thing, like, ah. And so, continuing on this little storyline here, after getting off a long plane ride, you generally have to use the bathroom, which is what I had to do. So I, like, go into the restroom, like, doo 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 doo, and I sit down, and it's so clean. Like, the bathroom, like, I don't know how they do it. Like, the workers there must be phenomenal or something, because it was so clean in the bathroom. And I know in the United States, like, the bathrooms are generally, like, okay, or they're really dirty. Like, there's usually, like, it's one or the other. Like, there's no super clean option in the United States. So that was a nice surprise. I immensely enjoyed that. So, I mean, going to the bathroom was okay, but, like, the clean bathroom is what I enjoy. And the cleanliness sort of, like, was a constant throughout London. It wasn't just, like, in that one airport. I know when we were in the subway or the underground, whatever you want to call it, it was also really, really clean. Like, what the heck? Like, from all of my experiences with undergrounds, like, they're not the cleanest of places, kind of, like, dingy, like, you feel gross, like, you're not sure if you want to sit, kind of thing, but you do because you're tired. No, these were clean, and you felt like you could, like, sanitize your newborn child with this underground system. Like, it was nice and clean, and with that cleanliness, it felt more welcoming, in a weird way. I don't know if that's weird to say, probably is, but it's definitely, it was definitely interesting, to say the least. And, along with the underground, something that I sort of knew before going in, but, like, forgot about, and it wasn't like I didn't fully register until I was there, was this whole Gap business. So, like, you're standing and waiting for the underground, and then it comes in, and then this voice comes from, like, the loudspeakers or whatever, and they're like, mind the gap, like, don't fall in, because there's a space between the platform and the actual train car. And so it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, don't get your foot stuck in there because then we're gonna have to come get you out and it's gonna suck and it's gonna cause all kinds of delays, so just mind the gap, kind of thing. And they tell you that getting off as well. So I finally understood like all those gap jokes that I didn't like. I sort of kind of guessed at, but didn't fully get and didn't register completely. And like now I do, and I feel at peace, I guess, about it. And one good like connection, I guess, would be to the app Dumb Ways to Die. If you've played that, it was really popular. Like I don't know, it still kind of is, but not as much anymore. But one of the segments on that where you're trying not to die is you have to jump over the gap between the platform and the train car. And if I hadn't gone to London, I probably wouldn't have understood where they got that idea from in the game. So if you play Dumb Ways to Die, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you can ignore what I just said. You can ignore it. So that was basically the whole cleanliness factor. Like I said, it was like the whole entire city, like sidewalks, buildings, everything was clean, and it was fantastic because I love clean cities. So then, moving away from that, I have something interesting that if you were to go to London, it probably would never happen to you. So we were there, and we're, dumb tourists. We don't know what the heck's going on, and there's some sort of celebration. So we ask our tour guide, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not quite sure, because our tour guide isn't from the UK. He was from Spain, so he didn't really know what was going on that day either." And he asked around, and he found out that it was Prince Philip's 90th birthday or something like that. Whatever number. It might have been 91st, but I'm pretty sure it was 90. And so there was this whole big celebration going on for it. And, there were roads blocked off and exits and different things like that. So it was all this congestion. And it was it only probably lasted an hour, but still it was really cool. And we were in the Tower of London, which isn't really a tower, it's more like a collection of buildings. Anyway, we were there being, stupid tourists, and we needed to leave to catch up, because we had to get on the bus at this time so we could go to a different destination in London, and we were going out the exit, and we couldn't because Prince Philip's birthday celebration was going on. And so, being stupid tourists, like we pretended to be at that moment, we went through the roped off area where Prince Philip actually was at that time, and kind of just ran through and went out the other side of the rope section. And there was this line of guards, because there was different people with the prince. And, one of them turned around, and I was like, eh, and went back. He didn't even care. We could have had guns, and we could have been shooting. He didn't even care. And I was like, oh, I guess we look like stupid tourists. And, that was pretty cool, to run through, because it was liberating. That was basically, yeah. That was basically the exciting story, that probably won't happen to you if you go to London, but it was something I wanted to share nonetheless. So something that you can probably use if you're gonna go to London would be the dining and eating, because we're people and we have to eat. I mean, we can't use photosynthesis or something like that. So obviously you're gonna eventually go to some sort of restaurant or cafe or whatever to eat. And there's a few things, especially if you're from the United States, that are different, especially in Europe. If you're from another European country, it's probably very similar, but if you're from the United States, these tips will help you out a lot. So, one, you can stay as long as you want, which you can in the US, but you have a different feeling. So, like in the US, they hand you the check and they're like, oh, take your time, but you sort of get the sense that they want you to leave when you're done. But in the UK and many parts of Europe, you have to ask for the check. And you don't get the sense that they want you to leave, you get the sense that you can stay literally for the rest of your life and they would be okay with that. So you can order some food and just sort of, spend, 2 hours at a restaurant and not sort of get, dirty looks or anything like that. And you have to ask for the check, like I think I mentioned earlier, but I can't remember because I'm a forgetful person. But you do have to ask for the check. So, I know I've had stories of people where they're sitting there for like half an hour and the check hasn't come and they don't understand why, and it's because you have to ask for a check. Something else too is in the US, we get free refills on drinks, and that's something we take for advantage because in Europe, you have to pay for a second, third, fourth, and fifth glass of whatever it is that you are having, even if it's water. Which, unless sometimes water's free, it depends on the establishment. But yeah, so you're gonna have to pay for multiple glasses, so keep that in mind as well. And something that you probably have heard a lot is that portion sizes are a lot smaller. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna get the pasta, and it's like, what the heck? Like, this is like 2 scoops and I'm done kind of thing. Like, so you might have to order a little bit more, but to keep your American stomach full. But in all honesty, like, I ate whatever was given to me, and I didn't have to order more food, and I didn't have to, get seconds and thirds and fourths of whatever to be satisfied with what I was eating, in the amount. I ate what it was, and I was surprisingly, like, I could eat, like, probably seconds, but, I was good, and I didn't, and it was actually, like, just the right amount of food. So, that worked out for me, at least. And, with the dining establishments, with, everything that, new you have to go on, one less thing you have to do is work out, tip money, like, and tax, because that's all incorporated in the prices. So, whatever it is, like, you don't leave a tip for the waiter or waitress, that's incorporated into the price of the food that you are ordering already. So that's also nice that you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to, be like, oh, should I leave, $5 or. But I guess since you're in London, it'd be, should I leave £5? Like, I don't know. Instead, you don't have to worry about that, and you can just go on your way. And if you forget, you don't have to feel bad because it's already incorporated. So that's a really, really nice feature. So if you're planning on going to London anytime soon, you will notice a lot of construction, like I did. And there's construction in the business district, which, a lot of tourists don't go to the business district and look at touristy things because they're not in the business district, obviously. But you might want to go through there because there are a couple of things out there that are cool to see that for whatever reason, and the construction might move from the business district to another part of town. But I always see construction as a good thing, that city is, thriving enough that they can improve upon their city at huge chunks at a time. And it's not, if it were worn down and like dingy and there was no sign of construction, I'd be like, okay. But it wasn't worn down and it wasn't dingy and they were already doing construction, which is always a fabulous sign. The only downside really is that traffic is redirected, sidewalks are closed off sometimes, and it was a little bit harder for my particular group to sort of, map out the routes that we're going to take to see different destinations. Asking some natives, even they were like, I think this path is blocked off, but I'm not sure, so you might want to try it, kind of thing. But overall, it was great and it was fabulous. And the overall trip to London was pretty fantastic, actually, and I would go back in a heartbeat to London and experience that whole entire thing again. Of course, with new things to do this time. And if you're considering going to London and you're not quite sure and you're scared, like, don't be, because those people are actually really, really nice and friendly, and they're going to help you. They will help you. And, people that work at different establishments and restaurants, they're willing to help you out through with the whole culture shock thing. And you forget to ask for your check, that's okay, they won't get mad. So, I highly recommend you go and check out London for yourself. If you still have, some squeamishes about London, you can always check out more facts and tips on my website that I made, www.jimdo.com. I mean, worldcultures.jimdo.com. I always forget the world cultures part, and that's like the most important part of the whole website IP address. But www.worldcultures.com, and I have a bunch of different facts and tidbits and cultural things that I didn't really cover in this video, but some of it overlaps, some of it doesn't, but you can always check that out. If my website doesn't give you enough of what you want, you can always Google it. You can always, go to the library, get books on it. There's a ton of information on that area of the world, and you'll be just fine. So, I'll be seeing you soon. Happy travels!